Hey, everybody, and welcome in to this very special WrestleMania-themed episode of Vox Jed Fight About It, is what I would say if we were doing a WrestleMania episode this weekend. Well, last weekend was WrestleMania, as most of you will know by now if you follow me on Twitter, because I, or at least on my private Twitter, have been maniacally tweeting about various things that are happening during WrestleMania. I've been getting real into wrestling recently, but either way, why am I not saying that? Why are we not covering WrestleMania then if I'm so into wrestling recently and Jed's so into wrestling recently? Well, I don't know if you noticed, folks. Jed's not here today, and the episode's a little shorter. Let's go ahead and address that elephant in the room first, I suppose. So, we're not doing our WrestleMania theme, so we're shunting that theme away, and I guess we'll do something else next week. I don't know what we'll do next week to make up for it. But this is our first ever solo ep, and, we were gonna do one of these during the storm that happened that knocked my power out for like 5 days, and so we didn't get to do that because I did manage to just skip a week and take a sick week. But this time we don't have a sick week to take, so we kind of just have to maneuver on past this and sort of get going. And while I can carry the show for 2 hours, I don't feel like I really can right now. Under normal circumstances, I think I can, but I'm a little rusty because this show is all I do lately. And I feel like setting the precedent that one-man episodes can be a little shorter is okay. So, by that effect, I sawed this episode in half. So now we have a 1 hour solo instead of a 2 hour two-man show. And I know you're like, well, you didn't pay good money, but you did show up for a 2-man, 2 hour show. And I feel real bad for you. But hey, it's the specials weeks, so we kind of had to make a compromise. And it was either this or no episode this week, frankly. That was it. I either do a solo or we don't do one. And so we really wanted to cover how we do a solo, because I don't really know how you would do a solo traditionally. Maybe just one of us for 2 hours. I just feel like 2 hours of just one of us would be a little awkward, is all. And so, I feel like it'd be much easier for one of us to fill 1 hour in our traditional Vox Jed Fight About It workflow than it would be for the two of us to film, or for one of us to film 2 hours, because with two of us usually do 2 hours, and together we can do it pretty well now. We've gotten to the point where honestly we could bump it a half hour and still be okay, and I might try to sell Jed on that, but no promises, dear viewer, no promises anytime soon. But on top of that, I'm all alone this week. But what does that mean for the actual content of this hour-long I saw this episode in half, Vox Jed Fight About It? Well, I'll tell you what it means. Dear viewer, and it means that I'm just gonna kind of talk about whatever I want for a while in your ears. So you've just got an hour of your favorite rat on the internet talking about, I don't know, Minecraft, talking about WrestleMania a little bit, probably. I wanna say some good things about Jed. I think that's what I want to do at the top of this episode. I think I want to say some good things about Jed, because Jed usually won't let me say many good things about him while he's here, and he's not gonna, listen to the... Well, actually, realistically, he probably will listen to this episode. I know him way too well to know that he's not gonna be tempted to know what I said in this episode, because I know as well as he knows that we're both too nosy for either of us in that position to leave this episode alone. Because who wouldn't, really? But let me sing Jed's praises real quick while he can hear it, and he won't stop me. So, Jed is great. Jed is a real go-getter. Even through this, fever, Jed's been trying like hell to, get up to record the episode. So don't blame him at all for not being able to be here this week. In fact, him saying that he can't be here this week, finally, is what led me to actually get us an episode done this week on my own. And so, because I'm doing this solo ep, he, really was pushing for, no, I can do it, I can come, I can do it. We just have to pick a good time for me. I can do it. We can do it on Friday instead of Thursday. Okay, maybe not Friday. I still feel sick. But I feel a little better, so I should feel better on Saturday. Okay, I can't record it on Saturday. How about Sunday? Yeah, Sunday should be good. Awesome. But he says he'll be better probably even tomorrow, enough to, hang out, And so he should be good enough for next week's episode. So don't worry, you're not gonna get, 2 Vox Fights About It alone solo episodes. I suppose I should say. should say. Although it would be cool to have Jed do a solo and have them be back-to-back right here as part of the theme. But I don't know if I can get him to do that. We'll see. We'll see how that looks next week. But Jed is such a go-getter. Jed is such a fucking go-getter when it comes to this sort of thing. I'm dropping water bottles and stuff, sorry. Jed is such a go-getter when it comes to this sort of thing that, like, he was so willing to be here and he so wanted to be a team player and wanted to show up and wanted to get this done. And he wanted it for the same reasons I want it, like, for the sake of the show. And that's great. And I love that about him. I love that he like is willing to like put himself on the line a little bit for the show. I kept telling him he didn't have to, and eventually he buckled and physically couldn't, and thus, But, the only downshot to that, though, I can't sing his praises without giving him a little bit of shit here. The only downshot to that is he waited until today to let me know for certain that he couldn't record the podcast with me. And so now we're recording a late episode that didn't necessarily have to go out late. And it's a solo, and it's only an hour long. This really spells like doom for this podcast if it were any other time than this like 10 episode stretch, I feel. I feel like that gives us a little leeway to do this and be okay. But either way, we're a small time show, so I don't mind making compromises like this every now and again. But there are other compromises that must be made, such as when I stop to take a sip of my water, like so. I will not be cutting that out. It takes me like 2 seconds. This is going to be treated as sort of kind of like a live thing-ish. Like, if there's like a huge gap, like more than like 3 seconds or so, I'll probably clip it and like cut it down. But like, otherwise, expect a more laid-back fight about it with just me. I tell you, though, dear viewer, I spent so long working on this episode's topic list because it's such a nerve-wracking thing. I don't stream as much right now, so that's why it's nerve-wracking to me. Normally this wouldn't be, but it's so weird to have something like this be nerve-wracking for me because it's like, now I'm starting to get it. Now I'm starting to get how like older athletes get and like older craftsmen get when they're like retired of just like, yeah, I don't know if I still have it like I used to, and I don't know if I want to find out, And like, granted, I've only taken like a month-long break, and that's been enough for me to completely go off the rails with it. But, easy come, easy go, I suppose. But Jed's having a fever, and he's gonna wake up from it, and he's gonna be okay. It's just gonna take him a while. It's just gonna take him a few days to be perfectly okay again, and thus he'll be just in time for next week's episode. But because Jed's not around as often, not only does that affect the show, that affects me personally. I've just had a lot of downtime recently. Like, I've just had a lot of time to myself. I've had a lot of, like, weird gaps where it's like, yeah, no, it's just me today. It's just me and my husband hanging out or whatever. And I've been doing a lot of VR because of that. And we'll get into that later. I want to talk about VR chat and VR in general a little bit and my, like, rekindling love with that. But first I want to start by talking about just how, like, quiet my life has been. And, like, how nice that's been for me to have a little calm in the storm. Because I'm realizing that I live a very hectic life. And that it's, it's not, like, good for my stress levels. And, like, being able to have this gap time to really consider life and consider things and consider where I'm at. And be able to break my routines and break my bonds of, like, the expectation of myself. I can kind of reinvent myself a little bit. I can kind of take this as, like, an opportunity in my 20s to take a swipe at like self-reevaluation and like reevaluating like my brand and everything. But that's for another day. That's for another day soon. Like, expect to hear more about that at some point. But it's just got me doing a lot of thinking, and it's got me doing a lot of changing, and it's given me enough time to really consider like where I'm at and where I want to be. And it's great. Rest assured that like everybody who's close to me knows what's up with me and knows what's up with Jed and knows what's up with like our moving situation and everything. And for you guys, all I can say is things are still moving. They're just moving along slowly in general. Just with everything right now. Things are moving slow. But it should all, like, every problem in my day-to-day, dear viewer, the great thing about it is that every problem that I have will be solved. All of them. Just about every last problem that I have in my entire life will go away on its own. Like, every active duty problem I have, at least. There's, like, passive shit. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna, like, my parents' divorce isn't gonna be, like, undone. My parents never got divorced. But, like, mommy and daddy aren't getting back together or anything. It's not that severe. But I'll tell you what. Like, a lot of, like, my active duty problems, like, a lot of the shit that's, like, causing me strife day to day is, like, minor. But, like, not only is it, like, minor issues, it's all minor issues that will go away eventually. That are actively actually fixing themselves. Because usually I find myself of the outlook that it's like, man, I'm having to sit and fucking wait. I can't do anything to actively fix my problem. I just have to wait for it to go away, you know? But now I'm sitting back and I have the outlook of, man, all my problems just kind of go away eventually. Wow, that's fucking great, you know? As long as, like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to anyway, you know, it's all gonna go away, you know, and it'll all be better. And that's great, and that's awesome. And I do try and do my best for what I'm supposed to, and that's great. But that's what that alone time has led me to do, is a lot of just self-reflection, a lot of acting on it. And WrestleMania had, like, a weird amount to do with that. I guess I'll cover WrestleMania very briefly here as part of my topics list. It's here. I just, like, I don't know if I want to cover it all the way. Just because wrestling is such a weird topic to get into. We've been getting into wrestling pretty recently. I don't know a whole ton about a whole ton just yet. But I'm still learning everything. We came in... I used to like it when I was a kid and like it kind of tangentially through friends that liked wrestling, so I didn't really know much when I was a kid and I wasn't super interested in it, but I did like it. And now I've like rekindled that as an adult and I'm enjoying it, and I picked it up about in January for like the John Cena heel turn, and it's been a good time. It's been a good way to keep busy, and WrestleMania has just been the culmination of that like few months of like growing obsession and love for the WWE. But WWE is a weird topic to talk about. Like, wrestling's a weird topic to talk about on a solo show, because I'm not talking like to anybody, so there's nobody to get hype with me. So if I start to get like hyped up about wrestling, about like, hell yeah, and then Stone Cold was there, and then John Cena, and then Cody Rhodes, and then this, and then that, you know, and like I feel like I'll look like more of a loser if I do that alone on a show than I would if it were two guys doing it on a show. You know? I don't know. And that's a lot of what having Jed around is for me. Like, not only is he like a great, awesome friend, but he also comes with the side perk of he's somebody I'm so comfortable with, and that like is of such like mind with me that we can both kind of allow ourselves to be idiots a little bit and like be ourselves fully, you know? And like look a little cringy, but if we look cringy together, it's okay. You know, like that's we both share that mentality, and so it's like a nice bonus for us of like, yeah, but then we're a group of people doing something cringe and not like me, the individual, you know, and it's great, it's awesome. But either way, WrestleMania just happened last weekend, and that changed a lot for me, and I think we'll be retreading this next week, probably, at least a little bit, to some extent, but WrestleMania was this weekend, and it changed a lot for me, and I'm not kidding. It genuinely, I've been having since about a good bit before we started this, since like mid-December last year, I've been having like this sort of quarter-life crisis, I've been labeling it, because it fits the symptoms for that, but I'm not sure if it actually is one. Where like, what I'm realizing is that self-realization that I've had over this past week was just bubbling until that weekend. But we drank that weekend, and it's the first time I had drank in like months and months, because I don't drink very often. But that's the first time this is the longest gap between drinks that I've had, and it's been like almost, like, I think it's been a year. Like, I think it's been well over a year now. But like, I had it and I was like, man, this stuff is nasty. Man, I only feel good for like an hour. Man, I felt like shit for like 4 days after that. Like, not just the vomiting. Like, the hangover was one thing, and that wasn't all that bad, but it persisted. Like, the little stuff. Like, I had a stomach ache. I stomach ache. I don't know why I said that like Dracula. But I had like a stomach ache, and I had like a headache all week. And it like just they were like tag teaming back and forth. But either way, it just like I had a weekend where like I like sort of mindlessly indulged, and then that week obviously was filled with like a lot of like reality checks and self-realizations, but they were all good ones. So I don't really mind, you know. But covering WrestleMania very briefly. There were a couple interesting matches that I really, really liked. That they started with the Jey Uso v Gunther match, which I didn't think would be an opener, which was really cool. I thought I'm actually getting really weirdly into Jey Uso. Jey Uso was kind of my guy for this. Gunther is like cool on like a big, strong guy level, but I really like Jey Uso as like a character guy, you know. Even though he doesn't have a whole ton going on right now, he's still got like his alliances, and he's still like proving himself and stuff, and that's fun. But also, it was just a good match to watch. Speaking of Well, not speaking of good matches to watch, I didn't like that the New Day versus like the War Raiders. I don't like either of these groups that much. The War Raiders are kind of cool, actually. I don't mind them, but like the New Day is like they're kind of lame. In my opinion, they're not like awesome wrestlers, and they don't have like a really cool theme, and so like, and they're not really good at promos either. To me, like their promo style doesn't appeal. Like I see what they're going for, and they're doing an okay job at it. I just don't really dig it. And then there was Jade Cargill versus Naomi, and that was something. But Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight was a fun match because LA Knight had like the coolest intro of the night. He like rocked up in like a silver fucking like car and like rolled down the window and looked out and fucking he pulled up. He literally pulled up to WrestleMania, dude. It was really cool. It was really crazy. But you see what I mean about how getting hype about this is really hard as like when you're just alone. And then there was this El Grande match where they had like a big American luchador fight like a traditional like new guy luchador in Rey Fenix. He's like, from what I gather, a fairly new like WWE guy. And so it was really cool to see him do that. But no, there was a lot of fun had this weekend. I'm realizing that like I don't really have a ton to say about these matches individually, but that Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, CM Punk match was crazy. Like, both of the main event matches were insane. Stone Cold came back at the end to do, like, the final attendance. And, like, everybody did, like, a what for him, like, over that. And, like, I woke up from, like, a half asleep moment where I was like, ugh, it's finally over. WrestleMania weekend has ended. And, like, all the soul left my body. And then Stone Cold arrived, and I was back in it for one glorious moment. But no, wrestling, okay, because going round by round clearly just is not working out. Joe Hendry was at WrestleMania, right? Joe Hendry was at WrestleMania. The Dominic Mysterio versus Braun Breaker, Finn Balor, and Penta was really cool. That, like, four-way, like, match was cool. I don't know, there was just a lot going on. It was all, like, just really cool shit and, like, really in-depth. And we're not really a wrestling podcast, so I don't want to get too into it. But it's something we've been getting into recently. And I super dig it. I super fucking dig wrestling. If you have any love of, like, theater or, like, drama storytelling, or hell, I know a lot of people are in, like, a lot of people that are in our audience overlap with like the Minecraft like improv roleplay community. If you like that stuff, go watch WWE. It's just that stuff, but it's big buff men doing it and women too. And like it's just big buff like athletes doing it and then also coming up with storylines. So there's like stories to follow, and I'm tuning into SmackDown and NXT and fucking Raw and keeping up with everybody, dude. It's great. It's a really cool thing. I'm a little behind right now. But I'm having a good time with it. And like this has been a really bad pitch, but like I highly recommend wrestling. If you're not into it, just it's on Netflix. Go start watching Raw. Everybody's got Netflix. I'm taking a water break. Go pull it up. Did you put it on your watch list yet? No? Okay. I'll take a second and take another sip. You can pick it up on this week's episode, by the way. You don't got to start from like the first one broadcast. Any event explains the combat well enough. Good water break. Is it on your Netflix watch list yet? Good. Awesome. We're moving on. Speaking of things that are on my watch list that I have yet to talk about on the show, the new season of Doctor Who has started coming out. I've still only seen the first episode. Another 2 episodes have come out since then, and I haven't seen either of them because I want to watch them with Jed, and Jed's been away. So if Jed doesn't, I'm going to ask Jed after I record this and see if he's seen them, and if he hasn't, I'm going to just binge, or if he has seen them without me, I'm going to feel betrayed and then binge them with my husband. But if not, I'm going to hold on to them, and then we'll do them all as a group, and it'll be great. But either way, I'm behind on that, and I want to watch that. I really do. I really, really do. But I'm hearing really good things. I'm hearing really spectacular things about the second episode. I don't know much about the third one yet. I haven't heard much about the third. But luckily my Twitter and my TikTok have been showing me wrestling. So like I haven't been getting Doctor Who spoilers. So I've been able to sort of just take it in my own time, which is great. I really love Doctor Who. It's one of my great loves. So I like to sit down and give it the attention it deserves from me, you know, and that love warrants, you know, and then really make it work. But yeah, no. Yeah, Doctor Who. Doctor Who has been really sick. Doctor Who has been really sick. But that's that. Speaking of things that we've watched recently, things that we have seen. I have been missing Doctor Who, but speaking of things that we have seen, the Minecraft movie, and I can't believe I'm saying that's why I've been tripping over my words because I keep reading this in my topics list, and I just can't comprehend it. The Minecraft movie, I will say again, the Minecraft movie might make $1 trillion before it's done globally. That movie, of all movies, now granted, it is, like I said in the episode about it, it's like the best-selling, like most popular game of all time, and so like yeah, of course, you know. Like, of course, if it got a movie, it would be huge. And I guess people said that about Tetris, but like that, I feel like that's a different scenario. And the Tetris movie is really good, by the way. It's actually better as a movie than the Minecraft movie, I would say. But either way, they're both really good watches. They're both really like equally fun watches, I would say. I think you just get more out of that than this as like a film, if you just want to watch a film. But I enough defending the Minecraft movie. No matter what you think about the Minecraft movie, the fact that a movie like that made $1 billion is both really cool for the fact that anything can succeed, really, in today's modern art landscape. Like, any level of, like quality doesn't really matter if it's fun, I guess, is the message that I got from this. But the other message that I get from this is the message everybody else seems to be getting, and that's that quality doesn't have to be high if it's fun. We can just make fun slop movies forever, can't we? You know? And like, Hollywood having that realization is the thing that kind of puts me off liking the Minecraft movie publicly. Because I don't want to be seen as the patron saint of fuck film and everything about it. Because I actually quite like movies, if you could believe. But yeah, no. I just like to have joy and whimsy more than I like movies, actually. But yeah, no, the Minecraft movie making $1 billion is super interesting. That's a really interesting thing to have happen for a movie like that. Because, like, a movie with that kind of vibe, it has such an indie movie vibe for something so high budget, I think, is the thing. Is that it feels so independent. Vibes-wise, it feels so, like, indie film. And I guess the fact that like they got the director for Napoleon Dynamite makes sense, having seen it, and I'm glad it was a success. It was well put together for what it was. It's just what it wasn't a lot, I guess. I mean, it was a lot. It's hard to explain. It wasn't a lot. It just wasn't super overwhelming, you know. It wasn't something that you can call objectively good, I think, but it was interesting and I liked it. And I'm cool to see it succeeding after all this time anyway. Sorry, my voice isn't on the tops today because I've been doing like impressions and shit and getting way too loud and having fun this weekend. But the Minecraft movie making $1 billion is really interesting. I'm sorry, this has been sort of like an in-between episode. I warned you at the top of the show, viewer. I warned you that this shorter one would be sort of more laid back and sort of weirdly in between. In between what? You'll just have to find out. But you know what else happened? Speaking of video games, the Oblivion remaster came out. That was insane. That on its own is a ridiculous thing. So, like, the Minecraft movie making $1 billion, that's ridiculous. That's haha funny, but like I can still believe it. Like, that's not like clown world shit. That's not like we live in like a simulation. Jesus Christ, how did this happen? I could have never predicted. This is one of those situations, though. I mean, I probably could have predicted that Bethesda was going to make an Oblivion remaster at some level, and I wanted them to for a while, but shadow dropping it was crazy. They just gave us this thing at random on like a Tuesday, dude. I don't remember when it was. I think it was like Thursday, actually. But either way, it was just on like a random day in April this month. They've just decided, fuck it, here you go. Complete Oblivion remaster. But there's a caveat. It's really, really pretty. It's a sophisticatedly pretty game, like really pretty. And there's a lot of under the hood calculations because of the kind of a game that it is. And I don't know, Bethesda tend to release real computer crunchers, real CPU eaters, real GPU gremlins of a game, I swear. Because like it's finally gotten me where I'm like, man, maybe the old 1660 isn't enough. Maybe this pre-built that I have that I can't like do much with because it's mostly just like pre-built parts, maybe it's not enough anymore. Maybe I should just swap it. You know, maybe I should just finally sit down and build a PC this year. And I think that's a goal for me by the end of the year. Not now, obviously, because I've been spending a lot of money on the move and everything, and I've been spending a lot of money on various things. So I don't want to do it like right this very fucking minute. But later this year sometime, I think this year is the year for a new computer that will definitely like carry me through the 2020s the rest of the way. Like I want to finally like I want to sit down and want to put down the computer that will last the next 5 years, you know, because this one lasted me from 2020 to 2025, and that's a pretty good lifespan for like a mid-range when I bought it gaming machine, you know, like a gaming PC pre-built. But this one, I'm gonna piecemeal it. I'm gonna top of the line it. I know every PC builder's been there at some point, and maybe I like am not seeing something that like seasoned builders see in my planning here. But the thought is that I will like month to month. Hey, I've got the money for like the graphics card that I want. Let me pick that up. I've got the money for the GPU I want, or not the GPU. I just said that. I got the money for the power supply that I want this month. Let me pick that up. And just like piece by piece, or like, oh, that's, and all the while looking and going, oh, that's a really cool case. I'll get that one if it's compatible. Boing. It's a matter of like making the list though is an issue. It's a matter of making a list of compatible parts that I can pull from and buy over time. I have to do really good planning for that piecemeal plan to work, or else I'm just not gonna have everything I need when I need it, and that's okay. Because I don't actually intend to put this thing together for, like, probably months after I start buying things for it, because that's the poor man's way. That's the poor man's way. I suppose I could take out a loan and do it that way, which is something that I like to do, because I can always pay loans back. I'd never have trouble paying them back. I'm just not... I have money, I'm just not a super liquid person at really inconvenient times. And so, like, I can pay it forward just fine. I'm a little brokey jokey at really inconvenient moments for me. But I think Oblivion Remaster has finally been my eye opener. I started playing that, I played the first hour of it and just had to uninstall it because I was like, man, this runs like shit. This is like a stunning game. It's really pretty to look at, but I can play it at 30 FPS and no higher. I can't play this like this. And it won't run on Steam Deck either. And God help me, there is a VR port of it, apparently. And part of me kind of wants to see if my PC explodes if I try and run that. But the other part of me knows I'm not going to sit through a 100 gig reinstall of the game after I just uninstalled it to try it. So I think I'm safe. I think I'm safe with that. That one isn't going to be an issue for me. But speaking of virtual reality, I've been getting back into VR recently. And that's the thing when I mentioned earlier that, like, where would I be making content if not Minecraft? If I did do that, like, maybe I'd like, cause I don't know if I was talking about that on the show or not. I think I've mentioned it on the show that I'm looking to, like, sort of move away from Minecraft content a little bit. I'm pretty sure I brought that up this episode even. But either way, I am looking to, like, gradually make that move away, and I'll have more details on why later. I don't know what I'm going to be doing after, though, so I'm sticking around long enough to, like, gather my thoughts and decide if I really, really want to do that. But I think if I do, I think I want to move to making, like, VR chat content. And, like, making, like, virtual reality VTubing content like that, where I just sort of roam around in spaces and talk to chat, you know, and stuff, and, like, hang out with, like, closer friends that I don't mind having on a Twitch stream with me in VR, because that's, a slippery slope to go down when it comes to, like, VR stuff. You don't want to be, like, in a public lobby on VR chat and be, like, around, but no. And be, like, live on Twitch, but no, because you'll fuck it. But no, I just, somebody will come along and they'll fuck you up entirely, is what I meant by that. Jeez, I'm losing my train of thought on this, because I don't really have much to say about it. It's literally just that point, and I was like, how do I say this? I don't know, I'm just gonna start saying it, and if it comes out right, it'll come out right, and that'll be great. But I've been getting back into VR recently, just casually, and I've been enjoying it quite a lot, actually. And I can't wait to do it some more. I think it's gonna be hype as hell. I'm glad that hobby of mine is coming back. I'm glad I'm enjoying that again, casually. But you know, that on top of everything, I bought my husband a Quest 3, which is great. because he can now get in VR with me, and he can enjoy it with me, and that's a lot of why I've been enjoying VR. That's a separate topic on my topics list, by the way. That was a transition. That's how smooth we've gotten these days with the transitions. I'm doing really good. I'm focusing up because I'm like, man, I don't want to fuck up my transitions, and then I'm fucking up my topics instead. But I digress. For my husband's birthday, I got him, we got a Quest 3. He kind of paid for it, but, like, we're a couple that shares our finances. We're a married couple sharing finances. It's kind of hard to delegate birthday gifts with money, so like neither of us really mind, and so like we got him a headset and he's been playing with me, and that's been a fantastic gift for both of us, honestly, on its own. Like that alone has been completely phenomenal for the two of us, to spend like way more quality time together, doing way more for way cheaper than it would cost to go out to like a bar or something and hang out. And that's the main thing, is that it's just cheaper and easier access. But yeah, no, it's been a fun time getting into VR recently. And maybe I'm not moving away from Minecraft. Maybe I'm not. I hate to like drop that bombshell in a random podcast episode, but maybe I'm not. I don't know though. But we got him the Quest 3 S is the headset we bought him, and I used it a little bit, and he's used it a little bit, because, like, it's I have a Valve Index, and so having a Quest in the house is nice, again, because I used to have a Quest 1, but having a Quest in the house, again, is nice, because now we have a standalone headset for things like Beat Saber, so that we don't have to wire ourselves into a fucking PC to just play a round of Beat Saber real quick and get sweaty. It's just way better for that sort of casual play, and so it's made VR just a facet of our lives now, and I like that this week. I'm enjoying that. I don't know how long that'll last, and I hope it lasts a long, long time, but I like it. I am enjoying it. But oh boy, that puts us about a halfway into this Vox gets to do his own solo episode thing, and I think I was doing pretty good in the first 10-20 minutes. I think I'm flubbing a little bit in this in-between section. It's because we're skirting some topics that I don't really want to get into super right now, and I kind of want to, like, stray away from, on the basis of I don't really have all my thoughts together on, like, my content creation career right now. I'm sort of in a weird transitional space with it. I just feel the need to give everybody a heads up that, like, hey, you know, we're trying here. You know, things are evolving and changing over here at the Voxel 64 Maniac Ranch. Between me and Jed and Basil, my husband, we've been just having a time. We've just been having a straight up time. But moving on to our next topic, what else do we have? Oh boy. Happy guests are finally in Minecraft now. Speaking of Minecraft earlier, we were talking a bit about Minecraft. That would have been a cool transition to do, actually. I should have squeezed that in. Damn. Hate when I think of stuff like that too late. But, Minecraft. Happy guests are in both versions, and I've had a chance to play with them, and I think they're genuinely, like, a really, really cool feature. I genuinely love them. I loved them, like, when they showed them off as little guys. I already liked them for that. So I was like, oh, they're cute little mobs, and they serve a purpose, even though that purpose is, like, better served by, like, elytra, but they serve, like, a unique purpose. But now you can, like, lead mobs to them, like a boat. You can, like, do all sorts of stuff with them, and, like, they're available for play in both versions, and they're iterating on this feature now, and I love it. I love it to death, man. I think the Happy Guest is great, and I think it's going to be a wonderful addition to the game. I haven't been this excited about something they've put in the game in so long, along with vibrant visuals, too. They're still trying to figure that out, I think, for Java, but I really can't wait for that to come out. I got to play with it a little bit on its first pre-release for Bedrock a couple weeks ago, and I thought it was really good. I thought it was a really stunning thing. I thought it was like a really stunning looking thing. It had some bugs, of course, because it's in like its first ever like beta preview. So of course it had some bugs. But those bugs were easily overlooked on the basis of like every decision from down to like the pixel matching to the blocks and the grid snapping and the clouds and the way like light rays come through. All of it. All of it was just fucking stunning, and I loved every bit of it. And I hope that as they iterate on it with Bedrock and get like the style down at Bedrock, they figure out how to do it at all on Java and match that style, sort of match that freak, you know, that they've got going on over there on the Bedrock version. They do release some interesting features on the Bedrock version because it's like C++ and way more flexible than Java. But like I don't know. Java just has like a weird, like, it's weirdly stable. You know, it's a very stable build of the game. Water break. There we go. I'm gonna start notating those beforehand so that you guys aren't just left in like a weird 1-second silence of did I pause the episode? Because how many people do you think are idly listening to this episode right now that if I just stopped talking, they would genuinely think that they had like accidentally Did I get you? I hope I got you. That was really good. You're looking right at me, motherfucker. Put your phone back down. Or your other monitor or whatevs. Put your other monitor back down. That was really clever till I started trying to decide what device you were on. But happy guests are in the game, and I love that. And you know what else I love? The Switch 2. The Switch 2 pre-orders are open now, and I really wish they had still called it the Super Switch or something. But now you can buy one in America, and it's great. And I am not like liquid enough right now because of like, again, I just bought a VR headset for like $400. So I'm not in a spot to pick up yet another brand new gaming console, but I will be when it comes out in like June. When it comes out in June, I'll go on launch day. I'll get myself one. I'll get the new Mario Kart. I'll play the hell out of it. I've seen people get some pre-orders. It seems like generally they've learned from the Switch 1's pre-order process and like the Switch 1 hype and like the stuff over that era, and they've actually decided to make enough of them this time to actually fulfill the need, which is great, which is awesome, because I'm hearing, at least from people that I know anecdotally, that the pre-order process is a lot smoother. There were like some people are even able to get them in person in their area in a lot of cases, which is great. There's so much going on, and I love that so much. But otherwise, let's talk about it for a minute, the actual console itself. People have been having a lot of opinions on it. They showed more of that Mario Kart, they showed more of the open world mode, and I'm honestly stoked about it. They showed more of a bunch of that stuff a couple weeks ago. I don't know, I'm still sold on buying one. I still think it's going to be the console to have for this next generation. Between it, the PS5, and the Xbox Series X, I think it's definitely like the one to have. Even though it's kind of like, Nintendo sort of put themselves in a position with this era where they've sort of stair-stepped, where, like, I don't even know if I'd count you in the same generation of consoles, but I guess you are, you know? I have no idea where the, like, generational divide for consoles is anymore. I've stopped caring, kinda. But I haven't stopped caring about Nintendo, and I love them very much. Or at least I love those characters very much. I'm not, like, bootlicking for the, like, company. But a few more things that have gone on in recent memory. Kevin Smith has been everywhere recently. He's been doing a lot. I don't know if you've kept up with where Kevin Smith's at and what he's doing, but earlier this year, Kevin Smith made a TikTok, and so he's been on my TikTok page, and so I've been seeing a lot more of him recently. And then last year, I think late last year even, like somewhere like October, November, he released like the 4:30 movie, and then, which is his latest film. I still haven't seen it. I still haven't sat down and saw it. It was still in theaters actively, and so I didn't get a chance to see it yet. But I can't wait. I hear it's really good. And then after releasing a movie, they got like the Jay and Silent Bob like pack in like Black Ops 6 recently, and that was really cool. And then they've got like the Blunt Man and Chronic alts. So if you're into that kind of thing, that's really cool that they've managed to release those, and I think that's sick as shit. But you know, on top of that, we're getting a re-release of Dogma, which is crazy because Dogma was like obviously not owned by Kevin Smith for a while, even though it's one of his movies. And it's one of his best even, and people really like it. But for its 25th anniversary, he's bought it back, and he's like doing like a tour where he shows it in theaters and stuff. And so I want to go on that. I want to go to that. I want to go to that, and I want to see the movie again with Jed, because I know that movie means a lot to Jed. I hate that it's on this week's topic list, because it's such a I want to talk with Jed about this thing specifically, because we could still order tickets. It's gonna be like coming to within like 2 or 3 hours of us. So like with a little driving, we can do that. It's not an option, you know. Speaking of things that we can do with a little bit of driving later this year, the new Universal Park, Epic Universe, has opened in Orlando, and it's open to the press recently, at least. And so like we're getting a lot of photos of rides and footage of rides, and more like detailed information and like looks at like mascot actors and like character actors, all sorts of shit. And it's all really cool. It's all reconfirming everything that I already knew, and that's that Universal's the best theme parks. And not only Universal are the best at theme parks, not only are they the fucking best, but this one is their best so far. It's their best and brightest so far, and it's right at my front doorstep, being like right there in Orlando for me. And so like it's not like it's in like Tokyo or something. And so it's like something cool coming to like my shore. And so it's like I feel obligated to go. And so I have an excuse to go and spend all that money later this year to do that. And like again, these are all very expensive things I want to do, but I'm talking about like a new PC eventually, and then a vacation eventually, and then like going to see a show eventually. We got a lot planned for this year, though. We got a lot planned for this year. And I hope it's going to be a really fun one, and I hope we get to talk about a lot of it on the show. That's what I'm hoping for, is a good bit of that. Our theming fell apart, by the way. I'm so fucking glad we didn't pre-release, like, a list of themes that we were going to follow for these 10, because that would have been way too rigid for the two of us to manage on our own. But we did well. We're doing well, and we're nearing the end of our sort of themed episodes, and I wanted to talk about that for a minute. I wanted to talk about how we're sort of nearing the end of our themed episodes, and how that's kind of sad, because I sort of like doing these under a theme. I'll be glad when we can get back to just general podcasting, but like doing these under a theme makes assembling podcast topics and like flowing the show from one topic to another so much easier. And this is the first general episode in a while, so I at least get my general episode fix, and Jed doesn't. But, you know, we still got a couple more of these. This is, I think, 47. I believe this is number 47. Yes, because last week was 46. I'm right. 47. Right. And so, you know, we're almost at the end of this 10, and I feel like, personally, each one of these has been a surprise to us when we came in on the day. We've each had, like, it's been such a weird time in our lives, and we've each had to, like, swap some stuff around to make it happen. But I feel like these are some of our best foot forward episodes. I mean, maybe not this one specifically, but this is something different and experimental and fun anyhow. But I feel like this set of 10 really, like, exemplifies the show. I feel like it really goes to show what the show actually is, and I'll be happy during the time up to episode 50, or like at release with episode 50, when I know for a fact we have like a clean set of 10 episodes that'll show up on like the Spotify and YouTube first for people that they might enjoy most, that are all really solidly put together, well-strung episodes. And so I'm really satisfied with that. I'm really, really satisfied with that. And I'm hoping that these next couple, up to 50 included, turn out just as well. And I'm pretty sure they will. I'm almost dead certain they will. I feel like me and Jed as a duo have gotten good enough at this podcasting thing now, to where, like, we've surpassed my individual ability to handle this, like, completely. My experience of doing this with a co-host has far exceeded my experience doing this solo now, in terms of, like, doing this in a podcast setting, talking to audience, at least. And so I feel really good about it. I feel really, really good about it. This episode and this set of 10. I feel really good about returning to, like, getting Jed back. And that's just kind of how I've been all weekend, really, is just because Jed's had this flu thing, so I haven't really heard much from him. Is just like, man, I'll be glad to have Jed back. I'll be glad to, like, take these changes. Because I've been changing a lot, like I said. I've been making a lot of personal changes in my life. I'm making a lot of choices for myself and reevaluating a lot of things. And it'll be great to resume status quo for a few days and, like, introduce those adjustments to that status quo, you know, and really make that happen. But I can't wait for that. I can't fucking wait for that. It's gonna be really cool to have Jed back next week, and so on and so forth. But I really like doing this episode too. I've had a good time. Even though it's not our best, it's still been a fun one to do, and it's not over yet. We still have things to talk about, like the Invincible fandom. This is something I've been meaning to bring up for weeks. But I haven't been able to bring up because we keep forgetting. Me and Jed have both been really, like, fiending to bring this up. But, like, I've decided right now, this is for right now, this topic, because we're never going to get to it without it, alright? And that's that Invincible Season 3 wrapped recently, and it was a really good season. We already talked about it on the show. I won't retread there. But the Invincible fandom, in its absence, has just been going madder and madder with the memes. I've been seeing less of them recently than when I put this down originally, when the show like went off, like the season went off air because it was done, you know? Like I wrote that down almost immediately because my TikTok was almost immediately flooded with like Sopranos fiber optic cable memes, but it's invincible, basically. If you know what that means. If you don't know what that means, you can Google it. It's a very learnable thing. It's not a very complicated joke to understand. But they've been doing that sort of edit for Invincible recently, and that's just been a big push. That's been a big, like, solid, like, yeah, no, the fandom is sort of like making its own gags now that there are no new scenes to make new gags out of. It's just recycling old scenes for new jokes. And it's slowly been getting more and more incomprehensible and nonsensical until it eventually disappeared. There was a good 2-week stretch. That's why it was on my topics list. Something else was on my topics list that I cut that I'm going to bring up here too. That, like, for a good 2 weeks, my For You page on TikTok was nothing but LeBron James edits with, like, custom songs, like, talking about how he's, like, the GOAT at basketball and how he's really good. And these Invincible edits that are, like, nonsensical. And it's, like, all I was getting. And nobody else that I knew... Jed was getting the Invincible stuff, but nobody else I knew was getting the LeBron stuff. And nobody else but Jed was getting the Invincible stuff. So I felt like I was in a really weird rabbit hole where I couldn't watch any normal TikToks, if you know what I mean. It wouldn't serve me any. It would only serve me those, dude. And so I was just stuck living in, like, yeah, fuck yeah, LeBron James, hell yeah. Invincible's cool too. Look at Omni-Man, that's funny. Anyway, let's move on. Are you sure? Just that whole kind of thing. And those memes took over for a while during, like, what people were calling, like, a meme drought. Which was really, like, I think the meme about the meme drought was that there wasn't a meme drought, and that, like, people noticed there was a meme drought and immediately filled it. And then people were like, oh shit, we've got memes in the meme drought. Holy hell. It's over, guys. The meme drought meme can end, because now we have more memes in the meme drought. Can I stop talking about memes now? Is that an option? Is that, like, a cool thing to do? After you've said a word about 8 or 9 times, just deciding you don't want to talk about it anymore? I hope so, because that's what we're doing. But what was I talking about? Dogma Resurrected is what I was talking about. Kevin Smith's been real busy recently, and as a big Kevin Smith fan, I love to see it. It's just a big year for me, is what I'm realizing. This is just a big year for shit that I like. I'm getting back into VR chat, and VR chat's making a cool bunch of developments. I'm getting into WWE, and a bunch of cool shit's happening in WWE. I'm getting into, or I like Fantastic Four and Superman, and guess what 2 movies are coming out over the summer, during my birthday month, no less. And then, like, on top of that, one of my favorite movies that, like, is mostly a favorite because, like, it's really good, but is also a favorite because I've shared it with, like, a really close friend of mine, and it really connected with him, Jed, of course. And so, like, that's getting a re-release, and we can go in the theater with the guy who made it and watch it and talk about it. So I'm absolutely stoked about this year. This year is really coming up me. I might, hell, I've managed to get my husband into VR with me. Like, but, like, still, there are, like, a lot of things that are beyond my control, like this Dogma thing, and like the movie releases. And the Minecraft movie came out finally, and we're getting the FNAF 2 movie, and, like, I'm cringe, but I am free. Fuck you. I like those. Like, the FNAF movie, that is. I already, like, defended the Minecraft movie. But, like, all of this stuff is just all culminating all at once this year. And it's really just my year. I ended 2024. I almost said 2023. Like, last year was 2023. Jesus Christ. I'm getting old, guys. But I went into 2025 with such, like, a December 2024 full of, like, yeah, 2025 is my year. It's gonna be my year this year. I'm gonna skyrocket. Things are gonna change for me hardcore. Everything I have going on is only gonna get better. And it's like, yeah, everything I have going on is getting better, but that's because I'm taking, like, a sidestep, sort of. And reevaluating, and then continuing on my path. Like, I'm making necessary progress. Very good forward momentum for myself, personally. But in terms of, like, career progress, I'm getting nowhere with Twitch right now because I'm not fucking streaming, you know? And so it is my year. It is my year, and it is turning out well. And it is, like, very good for me. It has been very good to me and has led to a lot of personal successes and progress and good times so far, and is just only going to lead to more, judging by the forecast so far. Not that I'm trying to jinx it or anything here, but it's looking like it's going to be my year all year round, and I can't wait. I really, really can't wait, guys. Because I don't even know what's in the back half of the year. I just keep getting new shit bestowed upon me for the year that's all really cool. And I love all of it, man. Hell, I don't know. And the idea, the prospect of making new different content even appeals. I'm not even sure anymore, man. But the Dogma Resurrected tour is going to be fun. I feel like the Dogma Resurrected tour is just like the cherry on top, the perfect pinnacle example of everything that I love and hold dear is coming to me in droves this year. And as much as I'm getting sort of weirdly emotional about it, it's great. It's been great. But yeah, no. I want to talk about the fact that episode 50 is on the horizon. We talked about how well this last few set of episodes has gone. I want to talk about the upcoming episode 50 now that we're at the 50-minute mark, by the way. But I want to talk about that because it's coming up, and I don't have any hypotheticals written down, guys. I'm gonna level with you. I almost said chat, but I don't have any hypotheticals written down, gamers. I got nothing. Dear viewer, I got not a goddamn thing. I used to have something. I lost the text document. I had one or two of them in, but now I have to come up with some new hypotheticals, and I'm really gonna have to sit down and brainstorm on those. But I think that I can kick Jed's ass at this. I think I've got this on a lock. I think I have this motherfucker on a swivel, and I think that I think that I'm gonna have it. I'm gonna have it nailed down. I think that I'm gonna have Jed pretty cleaned out by the end of this. I'm gonna have him ship shaped, dude, or whatever they say. I'm gonna have him heave hoed. But no, I feel like I've got this one on lock. I feel like I got this one in the bag. But maybe Jed's packing some fierce competition. But episode 50's coming up. That's our big hypothetical hoedown. And I'm really excited for it. I'm really excited to wrap year one with such a big, interesting episode. And I'm hoping that I can win again, because I usually win these kinds of games that we put on. I usually win, and Jed usually loses. But it's usually pretty tight. So that's fun. That's what makes it fun, is that Jed has been able to win. I've just usually won out of sheer luck, typically. That point aside, I think it's water break time. So I'm going to take a quick water break. Man, I suck down these waters. I genuinely don't know what it is. I genuinely don't know what it is about doing this podcast that makes me so overexert to the point where I'm sweaty, dude. Because I don't know if you know this, I don't sweat really from exertion. I sweat in heat, but I don't really sweat in exertion. It just gets really muggy, and I get really sweaty from exertion too. When I'm just sitting here doing this show. But I don't know why. I sit here and I talk all day. Why I don't get sweaty when I stream. I don't get sweaty when I do anything else. It's literally just this show. It's quite literally just doing this show. And I end up drenched by the end of it too. I am uncomfortably sweaty right now, and we're only 50 minutes into this recording. It's insane, dude. I'm so glad we've chosen to do a halfie for this. And that's honestly for our future grace more than for me right now. It seems like I'm kind of just being lazy right now, but I swear to you, in reality, it's genuinely because Jed's gonna have to do one of these solos at some point, and I know he won't want to do the full 2 hours. He won't be able to hold it. And even I, on a bad day, won't be able to hold it. If I'm just if I'm sick or something, and if we're both sick and one of us has to step up and it has to be me, I'd much rather do an hour-long solo than a 2 hour. That makes it so much more approachable to just knock out a solo. But yeah, everybody, that isn't our show. Really? We're not done? I'm out of topics, so I just assumed we were done with the show. Oh boy. What a crazy thing. What a crazy spot to be in. So what do I do now? Do I just sit here and twiddle my thumbs with you? I can pull a new topic. Don't worry. I can pull a new topic. I've been doing a lot of cleaning recently. We'll finish by talking about that. That's a pretty happy topic. I just didn't want to pull anything sad or retreading anything. But I've been doing a lot of cleaning recently. And I've been up when the sun ups a lot more, and I feel like that's helping me a lot to be waking up at 10 a.m., going to sleep at 2 a.m. I feel like that's a good time. 10 to 2 wake time. And then 2 to 10 is a good clean 8 hours. And I wake up in the morning. I sleep through most of the nighttime. I wake up in the morning. And which is a commodity to me to have a morning. Mornings make me feel very good. Mornings make me feel very productive. I think that's my problem, is my sleep schedule just does not breed productivity in me. I think that's most of my issue, as of recent. But yeah, no, I've been waking up a lot earlier. My sleep schedule's changed. I've been drinking a lot less like sugar. I've been drinking a lot more water and like having less caffeine in my system and shit. Not that I have a ton of caffeine usually, but yeah, no, it's all generally like leading to a better mental health state and just like a better living state. Honestly, I feel fantastic, you know. Even though Jed is like sick as a dog in bed, which I don't even think I explained. I didn't really want to get into it. It's just a fever. It's just a fever. There are other factors going on with Jed, but it's like the only reason he's not on the show today, just a fever. And those other factors are kind of just like his to have and explain if he chooses to. So I don't really want to get super into that. It was supposed to be his intro this week, so I don't know if I just give him my intro next week. I think I do, but I sort of did an intro and an outro. But I maybe we maintain the status quo. I don't know. We'll find out. But yeah, I feel like that. I feel like we've gotten really comfortable with this show, is what I'm saying. I feel like we've gotten really comfortable with this show, and this is a really experimental episode, and I really hope you've enjoyed it, because I've enjoyed doing it as much as I've sort of floundered and fumbled and faltered and flexed and been in a state of flux, and I've flabbergasted, and now you're probably furious with the amount of F words that I'm using, but I'm not using the big F word. And that's good, because swearing's bad, kids. Don't forget. No, but like, no, I've sort of stumbled and fumbled this episode. Fumbled. There's a good one. I don't know if I used that one, but I've sort of stumbled and fumbled this episode. And so I hope, and it's a half length, which I will sincerely apologize for, because I genuinely don't like to underdeliver without letting somebody know first that I will be underdelivering, and I'm underdelivering late. I feel especially bad. It's just super awkward to pick up this format as a one man all of a sudden. It really is, because I feel like I'm just a guy with like a jabberjaw who just is talking some random person like on the other end's ear off, and they just can't stop me. I mean, I suppose you can stop me whenever you want, but you can't chime in, and so it's like a very like, it feels like a one-sided conversation almost. I almost don't like this. A little icky sticky, if you know what I mean. Well, maybe not sticky. It's a sticky situation. Sure, we'll go for icky sticky. Why not? Icky sticky just sort of like paints a picture. I'm not jizzing on the podcast, is all I'm saying. I don't know. I sure am glad we marked these episodes as 18 plus sometime, or as explicit, but not 18 plus. We probably should be marking them 18 plus. Honestly, if we're gonna be saying shit like that. I don't know what 18 plus means for Spotify. I don't know what I age restrict them already on YouTube. But like, or like I mean to. I have them set as not for kids at least. So there's that. If YouTube wants to age restrict it, it's up to them, because we don't usually talk about like jizz on this show. That's a rare occurrence. And sometimes I will make the effort to make it explicit. I just haven't really bothered to look and see what that does exactly to the episode in terms of its like numbers. And so I don't know if it, like, is a good idea. Like, I don't know if they just keep kids from seeing it, or if it just hides it from everybody unless they go looking for it. You know what I mean? Because those are two very different switches, depending on which of those switching that switch over means, you know? And so I really don't want to label them that. But I'll tell you what, though. I've tried to end this episode, like, 4 or 5 times, and I keep doing it super preemptively, because we've been in the 50 minutes, I feel like, for, like, 30 minutes. I don't know how that happened. The first 30 minutes of this were easy peasy, because I had a whole topics list, and then it immediately went to shit instantaneously. But I feel like now is finally about time for me to end it. Let me take a quick water break, and then I'll tell you where you can find the show. Give me 1 sec. Water broken. I'm giving birth. So, in that case, you can find the show every Sunday. Typically, this one's coming out on Tuesday, but you can find it every Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right now, it'll become Eastern Daylight Time when the time switches. But 3 p.m. right now every Sunday on YouTube as a premiere first, so you can watch it live, kinda, not really live, but pseudo live. With you can watch it together with a group of people who like the show and enjoy the show, and sometimes me and Jed are over there. It's a good time. Go check it out if you get the chance. And then there's also the Spotify versions if a video version of the show is not your dig. Where you can listen to the audio version or the video version in the car, on a train, on a plane, wherever you might be. And yeah, those are the two versions of our show, and they're both equally available to you in the link to our card down below, where you can also find my socials and Jed's socials. He didn't show up this week, so make sure you go give him a pat on the back. Go to his Twitter and tell him he did a great job on this week's episode. Go out of your way intentionally, if you can, and let Jed know your appreciation for his contributions to this episode. It'd be really funny if he just, without any context, started getting a flood of messages that were all, "Hey man, I loved you on episode 47, and that's the one episode he's not in." That's almost mean, but I doing it to confuse him would be really funny. So I think it's a worthwhile bit. Go do that. Go have at it. And yeah, I'll see you guys when Jed's back, hopefully, for episode 48 next week, where I don't know what we're talking about. Goodbye! Oh man, solo episodes. Jesus Christ.